for being here, guys. This is the Hawaii iOS Developer Meetup. We're going to start off with a quote of the week. This is a quote by Steve Jobs. It's been one of my mantras, focus and simplicity. Simple can be harder than complex. You have to work hard to get your thinking clean to make it simple, but it's worth it in the end, because once you get there, you can move mountains. So we got a bunch of meetups coming up. We are now featuring topics kind of for like the either first 30 minutes or maybe the whole thing, kind of just let it go where it goes. But the next meetup, we're going to be focusing on LLDB. After that, mutating functions in out, Git workflow, installing Swift and VirtualBox, vibrations and haptic feedback, and then I wanted to have a discussion Swift 3 versus React Native. So we'll be doing those in the future. All right, the pro tip I wanted to share tonight is just hide show your console. I really hate leaving the keyboard. I really don't like using a mouse. So you can show and hide the console by Command-Shift-Y. And I just want to share another quote. You become an iOS developer by developing and shipping iOS apps.
Yep, I've got a couple of those.
All right. So again, thanks for being here. Housekeeping, all Meetup conversation, please put it through the Meetup page. We are very lucky to have the Meetup here at HICapacity's Hackerspace. If you're interested in becoming a member, there's the website right there. If you need to get in touch with me, I prefer to do all the conversations on the Meetup page, but if you have an emergency, you can take down my number right there and text me if you need me. The last bit of housekeeping is, what's up?
You want video?
No. Well, yeah, sure, you can. But I'll keep going. The bathroom is outside and to the right. The lanyard, the key is on the lanyard, the black lanyard right there hanging by the door. Okay, any questions before we move on? Okay, I'll keep going. So 2 free tools I really like to use. First one is Spectacle app. It's for Mac only, and it allows you to do moving the screen around, the keys. It's super good, it's free. Spectacle.app. Second one I want to share is screenhero.com. I'm using it right now. Jonathan can take over my computer, mouse, and keyboard if he wants to. And no, please don't hack my computer. It's cross-platform, so we have people on like Windows. I'm not sure if it works on Linux, but I'd love to hear if it does. Screen Hero just got bought by Slack, so it's a closed beta right now. But if you're interested in joining in or pair programming in the future, give me your email address tonight. I'll add you in, and then I'll rip up your email address. So here we go for the agenda for tonight. We're going to start off with introductions, and then you can feel free to participate in any of the following. Tonight's discussion topic is Swift 3, making Tetris on the command line. Or if you want to, you can share your projects with other members, or you can just pair if you want. Any questions? All right. So let's go into introductions now. Does anyone want to start?
I'll start.
Right.
Okay, I'll start. Okay, I'm a developer. As I mentioned, that I've been working on an app called HICapacity. Well, the details I cannot discuss because I'm in NDA mode at this point. But it was written in Swift from 1.2 to 3. So I've got the idea of learning how to convert all that stuff, but I enjoyed working with it. It's a big project, over 200 files already.
Can I ask you a question about converting it? Did you go through the Xcode converter, or did you do it by hand, manually yourself?
First, I did the converter, but there were a few gotchas, so I did it by piece.
Okay.
Sometimes you have to do that.
Cool.
Never trust automated migration. I don't care what software you work with. You're going to end up with some hiccups. Sometimes you do have to do it right. But from Swift 3 and on, shouldn't be as bad. It was from 2 to 3 that was a major one. But yeah, it should be shipping. The app should be shipping by end of January, early February as a closed beta. But I had the chance to work on it. I really enjoy it. And my future goal is to do server-side Swift, which I still have to put into Ubuntu and all that stuff, which I plan to do in the near future.
Oh. Thanks, Jay. Anybody else want to go next, or I'll go next? Want to go next?
So I'm Tyler, and I'm here to learn Swift since I don't have any previous any real experience with Swift. So yeah.
All right, John or Aaron?
Aaron Nelson. I have shipping apps. So I have a music, like a PDF music reader.
Okay.
And people are using it all over Hawaii and
Nice.
all over the place. I used to work for a music software company in the Bay Area. It's
Oh,
called
okay.
Opcode Systems.
Code systems.
And we wrote primarily in C, in C++. We're the first people to make MIDI interface on the Mac. We're the guy that started the company is the first guy to invent. You ever heard of the MIDI file format?
Yes.
He was instrumental in that.
Wow.
And then we're the first people to make audio and MIDI at the same time in a sequencer. It was called Studio Vision.
Hmm.
And
I heard about that years ago.
yeah, years ago. But I didn't work on that so much. I worked on the 24-bit conversion for the audio. But then I was primarily doing keyboard. You know those keyboards that people use?
Yeah.
The interfaces. So I would write the interfaces and then on the computer. And it was called an editor librarian. And so I would do all of that. So there were like, I don't know, hundreds of keyboards. So then I had this insane idea of moving back to Hawaii and playing music. Oh my God. Okay. So I moved back to Hawaii and I played music, which I am doing now. And I didn't program for like 13 years. And then I remember playing and I had all these binders of music. And then I said, if they invent something like that, then I'm going to write software for it. So as soon as the iPad came out, I wrote a piece of software. It's called Unreal Book. And then and it just, I've been programming since then. But like I said, I started it off with Objective-C, which I love. Like I know you don't like it. I don't know why nobody likes it. Like I
the brackets.
totally love it. Apparently.
I actually like. I kind of like. Kind of like Objective-C, but
No, because you're like at a higher level. But for me, I was programming in C, like you said, pointers, and then we're trying to do like, it was like basically we're trying to do blocks and all those different things, but just at pointer level, you know.
Yeah.
And it was like, I got tired of my Mac crashing. I had to put a headphone jack. Like you ever did that?
yeah, the feedback.
Yeah. No, you put it. It always makes the ding sound, right? So everybody knows that you crashed. So you put the headphone jack.
I didn't know about this.
Yeah, and it just shuts the damn thing up so that nobody knows that you crashed the computer. Because iOS 9, whatever OS 9 used to crash, whatever.
Yeah.
So I love like Objective-C, like I love it. Like
I admit, I love the.
no, you
I
gotta
gotta confess. I have to confess.
You have a convert. You converted him back.
No.
Open
But I
a
want
store real quick.
to learn Swift because everything is in Swift now. All of the examples.
And actually, in a way, it's safer than default
Oh.
because it's statically typed. It can catch. Because I was reading. Don't get me wrong. I don't completely hate Objective-C, but some of the runtime features can cause problems. And there's numerous to discuss maybe later. But one thing I liked about Swift is the fact that it can be safe by default and revert to unsafe pointers, direct memory access when you need to. I was just reading.
Oh, I didn't know you could do.
Yeah, you can.
I just couldn't even get past the point that you know how in an NS mutable array, you can just put any kind of object in there, right?
Yeah, you gotta be
But
careful.
you can't do that with Swift, right? You gotta use dictionaries, right?
Actually,
Sorry to change the thing, but anyway.
No, we're just discussing. It's
we
fine.
can discuss why NS mutable array can be dangerous at times. Because if you
do
use
it,
an
yeah.
iterator, you'll crash.
Oh, okay.
That's one area you gotta be careful of. There's a book called Advanced Swift which talks about those crazy details.
I get a feeling all my answers are with this guy. But,
This guy knows.
I've done Objective-C too, and don't get me wrong, I like working with low level. I like pointers, but there are times when that becomes a pain, especially with UI. But Swift, it gives you the ability to do high level safe code, and if you need to go unsafe, they give you that option to make it a little safer by calling it unsafe. Let you know that it is. You have to you're really playing with pointers when you're doing that.
so basically that's it. And then the program I wrote. I mean, the good part is that it connects to. You can control multiple iPads at once. But I use HTTP, like a server.
Yeah.
And then through Wi-Fi, or I was using. Oh man, I was using that horrid thing that Apple invented.
Which one?
What's it called? Well, it's through GameKit. But the Bluetooth connection.
Oh.
What is it called?
Core Bluetooth?
They broke it so many times, so I had to rewrite it like 3 times. And I think it's currently somewhat broken. But I mean, in that case, I'm using a lot of
Third party?
different things. No, I mean, that one I talked directly using Apple's routine, but I don't know, they broke it so many times that.
Yeah. It happens.
And then the stuff I'm stuck on is just probably just how do you take a legacy app like mine with so much code and bring it into, I know I can write parts in Swift,
Yes.
but I mean, what does that give me really? That's like my question. And I guess also I was talking to you about how to do memory debugging
Right.
efficiently.
Something I'm gonna be doing with
See,
my app too.
I told you.
Yeah, we can
She knows.
cover this discussion more afterwards.
Yeah, that's about it.
That's good. I just want to ask a follow-up question. So what instrument do you play?
Keyboards and guitar.
Oh, nice. Cool. All right, John, you want to introduce yourself?
John. No, I've been making and shipping apps since 2010. All of them are Objective-C. I retired from the Air Force in 2016. Now apps is all I do.
Oh wow.
But I haven't done any code. The code I posted on the group.
Yeah, that helped out.
That was my first code in 9 months.
Wow.
Nice. Welcome back.
Welcome back.
That was my first attempt at Swift as well. So I'm just getting into Swift, but I've had about 16 apps on the App Store.
Wow.
They do pretty good. Some of them are complete failures. Some of them have done really well. So
What kind are they?
I've done a lot of different things. My first one were like little games. I did like a little Newton's Cradle simulator using a physics engine.
Oh.
I did some kids' storybooks, and then I got into Parrot AR drone controllers.
Cool.
And then I got into security cameras.
Wow.
So now I do
Like,
home
there's-
surveillance type apps. And then now I'm looking at like doing some home automation stuff, and then looking at setting up some kind of zero. I'm hoping, I don't know, there's just an idea. I just got back from Japan and I was setting up some VPNs and stuff. And I kind of want to do some kind of zero config VPN deal, but I really haven't put much thought into it yet. So,
Wow.
We be going to something like that at some point. With that I'm working on at some point. We may play around with monitoring IoTs and stuff like that. So I gotta go back to the various like core Bluetooth and a few other networking type of APIs I have to get into at some point.
yeah.
Without disclosing.
Well, Apple has that built in, right?
Yeah.
The discovery, self-discovery.
Yeah,
The
for
HomeKit.
sure and a few others.
No,
Oh,
no.
fine.
I don't know for HomeKit though.
Yeah, I think there's stuff in HomeKit. Well, let's see.
Yes, you had.
No.
Sorry to bother you.
Oh, no worries.
How you been doing?
Good.
Yeah, me and Charles were just wrapping up some deals with our app and everything.
How's it going, David? Long time.
How's it going, James?
Wave to the camera.
I don't know where it is. Where's the camera?
What camera? Oh,
Oh,
Oh no.
Candids.
I hate candidates.
So, James, we're just doing introductions right now.
I'm in the
Oh,
right place.
Yeah, sure.
So I'll do, I guess I'll introduce myself. My name is David Neely. I'm the organizer of the Hawaii iOS Developer Meetup. I really like computers. I've done a lot of Objective-C, but I definitely don't think to the level that you guys got into it. So I just love the conversation hearing about this stuff. I moved to San Francisco in about 2011, and I was an iOS tutor there for about 2 years. And I was part of a meetup group in San Francisco. It was just great. It was kind of like a support group for app developers, because as you develop apps, you kind of lose steam as you go along. So I kind of saw it as like we're all kind of cheerleaders for each other to get stuff out, and if we ever get stuck on things, that we can keep going on it. But so I just wanted to bring it to Hawaii, and this is, I think, the 7th meetup that we've had, and it's growing and it's evolving, and I'm really happy with it. So I'm just going to go through that. Right now, I kind of got stuck on making this Tetris app. I started out with a single-dimensional array, and that was the worst thing I could have done. So I rewrote it with a multi-dimensional array, and so we're going to be coding it tonight. So that's it. Does anyone have any questions or have any feedback you want to talk about right now? All right. James, you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, so I'm James. There's a lot of new faces here, I guess. I'm actually one of the founders of HICapacity. We're part of the board, and I'm just glad to see everyone here. We are a little bit short of members, so if you know anybody that's wanting to join, this whole I guess space is funded by members since 2012-ish. Since we were in the box jelly and then we moved over here. So I'm glad seeing some new faces, and thanks David for running this iOS stuff. It's actually interesting because so I run a software development company downtown. We used to be right across over here, and then we graduated from NYC last year. And we're actually one of the few shops in town that does native iOS. So, and Julie's we've been iOS developers for a while. So it's great to see some iOS activity. There's a lot of talk about JavaScript and wrapping web apps and stuff like that. React Native. Nothing is quite the same as native iOS code, right?
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, there are some differences. If you're doing any graphics intensive, go native. Unite your platform.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Thanks, James. Julie, did you want to introduce yourself, or did you want to participate, or you're good?
No.
Okay. If you want to, just feel free. Here we go. So tonight, the topic of discussion is going to be Swift 3 implementation of Tetris on the command line. So if you're interested in seeing the project up until now, you can just download this repo right here. Also, if you're interested in just kind of pair programming or swarm programming tonight, give me your email address and I can add you on Screen Hero. Jump in. Does anyone have any questions? Okay, here we go. So I'm going to just start creating Tetris on the command line.
Have you guys been doing all your meetups here?
Yep.
On Thursdays? Is this a good location for you guys?
I think it's
We actually have another. So we've been doing these meetups for Elixir, and we just did one recently at one of our buddies' offices in downtown. So I think for a meetup group, it's in your advantage to always change your location because you're gonna get different audiences. So I don't know if you guys just something to throw out there.
Cool.
And I have a few contacts if you want to use their offices or different venues.
All right. Thanks, James.
I don't know how I found out about it. It just showed up on my some email or something. I was like, what the heck? What? I don't know. Kind of weird.
Okay. Any other comments or questions before we get started? All right. Who here has played Tetris?
What is this?
What is Tetris?
I never played it.
Really? Okay. Oh, here we go. You can build your own. All right. So I'm just going to go in and I'm going to just create a project. So here we go. All right. So I'm bringing it up here. And I'm doing a command line project. I'm going to call it Tetris command line, and I'll call it 3. So there we go. Creating it in here, and here we go. So I just want to see what it looks like. I'm going to do presentation mode so we can see the code.
Oh yeah, it helps.
There we go. Okay, so let's run it. And we use the pro tip tonight that I shared is showing and hiding the console. So I'm doing a Shift Command Y. Boom, boom, boom. Just moving that. So I'm going to bring it up a bit, and then we're going to get started. So there we go. So I'm going to stop the program execution. It's already stopped. Take out this print, and here we go. We're going to start in. So let's do a game screen. And this is going to have the, I'm just going to zoom in a bit. a multi-dimensional array. And yeah, right. And then so let's create it right here. So I'm going to do multi-dimensional, and we'll do I'm going to do a 10 by 20, which is traditionally what Tetris is. So I'm going to go 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And so I've got that. Look for a second one. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Removing the last comma. And one of the coolest things about Xcode is now we can do automatic formatting. So I'm pressing Control I. If it goes, oh, we've got an error here. Oh. All the gotchas. Okay. There we go.
Yeah.
So it just did that. It's great. I use it all the time now. Next, I'm going to do pieces now. And rather than kind of take up your guys' time by coding all these pieces in, I'm just going to copy and paste it from another project. Okay, so pop quiz, hot shots. How many pieces are there in Tetris? No. You got to use your memory. How many?
At least 6.
7.
Okay, I'll find one.
Yeah. So I'm just bringing them in, and so they're composed the same way the game screen is composed. So this is the L piece, the long piece, or I'm sorry, the L piece.
Yeah.
And so it's just going to be a 5 by 5 array. Yeah. So we're going down to L2. It's just the other way. Going to I, it's the long piece. We're going to T, and we're going to S, Z, O. Makes sense, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so the next piece I'm going to do is I want to put all these pieces inside of another array so that I can get a random piece. So what I'm going to do is let pieces, and this is going to be an array of arrays of arrays, int, and this is going to be all the pieces I've created. So there's the L piece, the L2 piece, the T piece, the I piece, the O piece, S, and Z. So that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 pieces. All right, now I want to get a random piece out of here. So here we go, get random piece. Get a little gutter here. And I'm just going to paste it in here. So we'll go over this real quick.
Does that screen hero allow cut and paste from outside?
Yeah, absolutely.
Can I do on there?
Yeah, sure. Just in your email.
Still free, right?
Yeah.
It was paid, now it's free. It was paid, it was free.
Okay, so we're going to go over this randomizer right here. So we can use arc for random uniform in here. I'm getting the count of the pieces, and then I'm just going to put it in here. So I'm returning this array of arrays with an int inside of it. So let's just pull this one and see if we can get it to print. So I'm going to print, and I'll add you. So I'm just going to add John in real quick. And
Didn't know if you wanted to add that clear screen stuff. I've got an easier way.
oh yeah,
Okay, you don't even have to have a C or C++.
I'd be open to hearing it. Yeah. Do you mind if I add you on here? I mean, because we're streaming this stuff online too. I'm going to be putting your email address.
No. Yeah.
It's okay.
Should have said it.
Yeah, put me on there too.
Okay, sure. So if you want to put your email address on here.
Oh,
Okay. All right, John, you've been added. So you'll get an email about it, then you'll have to download Screen Hero and then put it in.
pretty easy.
Okay, and Aaron, you mind if I put your email on here?
Yeah, fine.
Okay. Okay, so you should be getting an invite. So, all right, Zach is in here too. Okay. All right, so we're gonna go in and it's gonna just print a random piece right here. So print, and I want to get a random piece. So get random piece from pieces, and then I'm going to pass in the pieces. So we want to print that out. We're going to run it. Bring this up a bit. Waiting. I'm not sure it's going to print actually because it is an array within an array, but it will. There we go.
Yeah.
All right, so what I want to do next is I want to get this to actually look like a piece. So I'm going to bring in a display piece because now that I have a piece, I want to display it. Before I do that, for Tetris, I'm going to need a current piece and a next piece. So I'm going to go var, because I'm going to change it, right? It's a variable. I'm going to do current piece, and a piece is going to be an array of arrays equals, so just kind of initializing that, to a next piece too. So the Tetris pros can see the next piece coming up. And then I am going to assign these right here with current piece, and next piece equals get random piece for pieces. And I'll do the same thing here. All right, any questions up until this point? Okay, cool. So let's display the piece. So I just want to see what the current piece looks like. So I'm going to get my code for displaying a current piece. And I'm calling it display piece, and it's going to take an input piece. I'm also going to get rid of this print because I don't really care about it anymore. Okay, so let's go through this real quick. So I've got the input piece. It's going to be current piece, goes directly in. And then I've got a height index going through the piece from top to bottom in the array. And then I've also got a width index that's going to go left to right. So it's just, for loop within a for loop. And then we're just checking for, at that coordinate with the height index and the width index, I want to print, if it has nothing in it from up here, yeah, then I want to print a 0. But if it has a 1 there, I want to print a piece. So we're going super old school Tetris style. So it's just going to have these brackets. So let's run this, and let's see what it looks like. So display piece, so I want to say display piece. I got an X over here. Display piece, and I'm going to take the input piece of current piece that I've set already. So I run this, and let's look at the output here. We're waiting and waiting. Okay, use of unresolved identifier display piece. Oh, you know why? It's because I'm calling it. No, that's not it. Were you going to say something, Che?
Did you read a typo?
Where?
There's a typo.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys. All right, let's run it again. See what it looks like. There we go. There's our piece. So let's run it one more time to make sure we're getting a random piece now. There we go. There we go. There we go. All right, cool. So before I go on, I want to maybe just say that this is the next piece before I don't really care about showing that one anymore. So I'm going to go next piece. And I'm going to display the print next piece. So we'll see what that looks like. There we go. How about we want to look and see what our game screen looks like next. So we want to print the game screen. We'll come down here, and I'm going to pull in some code for displaying the game screen next. There we go. Okay, so here is display game piece. So we're going to just go through this code real quick. From the top, pretty much functions the same way. But we're going to call it, we're going to do height again from the game screen count -1. And then we're going to do, okay, let me make sure I get this right. All right, explain it correctly. So we have two for loops. Here's one and here's one. You'll notice in the original Tetris that it has these kind of things on the sides of it. So I'm just kind of have a print right here to this on the side before it prints a row of the game screen. And then also at the bottom, I'm going to do the same thing after we finish printing out the game screen, or printing out that row. And then after we finish printing out the 19 rows, we're going to print this as the 20th, and then this as kind of the catch-all you notice that these are escaped. So now we want to just print the screen. So we're going to zoom back out, and I want to do, what did I call it? Print game screen. There we go. So we're printing the game screen now, and I'm running it, bringing up the console. There we go. This is old school Tetris. What I want to do next is I want to put in some stats. So does anyone know what stats the original Tetris had?
Score.
Okay.
Score.
All right. What else?
Time.
Time. Okay.
Level.
Yep. And there's one more.
Lines.
Yes. All right. So these are all going to be integers. So I'm going to specify the type right here. And I'm just going to assign them to 0 right now. Yeah, like strongly typed Swift.
Start at level 0 or level 1?
I'm going to go 1. All right. There we go. I personally like this style. You can disagree with me, it's fine.
No.
I like it very open and clean. I feel every line of code deserves its own line.
Yeah, because especially because if you have plenty of variables and they're long and messy, well,
Yeah.
easy readability.
Absolutely.
And I understand why you're explicitly making it int, because sometimes time for inference has its drawbacks.
Can we talk about that for a bit? I mean, can we branch off a bit? Talk about when you would want to keep this loosely typed?
Basically, when you just look at the context. The score and the time in this case could either be represented as a int or a float,
Right.
depending on what usage.
Right.
If the context is ambiguous, you should, if it's not clear from the context, it could be an int or a float, you should
Say it.
Explicitly.
Mhm.
But if it's obvious from the context, then you can leave it out, like count. I don't think you're going to use a counter for floating points.
Right.
So stuff like that.
Okay. Thanks, Jay. Okay.
Does Swift have anything like type annotations for like functions?
Oh yes, no, functions have to be explicitly typed because you're using the only other, if you want a generic type, Swift has generics.
Because I like Haskell types and stuff. You know, stuff. I like having those because I can look at something quickly and see the types of data I'm taking in and what it's returning.
Yeah.
Especially when I start composing.
Oh yeah, exactly.
So
So you have something similar.
yes, okay.
You have to explicitly show what type you're using.
Yeah.
It's a contract. Then you have to be explicit in function types.
Mhm.
For variables, it can infer from the type you're using, but with functions or closures, generally you have to be a little bit more explicit unless you're given a generic placeholder type.
I like types.
Me
It's
too.
not just for the machine, it's for the developers too.
Yeah, exactly.
Ability.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I
absolutely.
like generic type because it helps you write the algorithm without being specific at the types that you could put or int arrays. If you just use the same algorithm, you can reduce boilerplate code duplication.
Yeah.
You know what that they said that it's easy to read, right? Easier to read. But I find it like ridiculous, like the unwrapped things and the wrapped, unwrapped. It's ridiculous. I don't even understand what that is. Like that.
Oh,
When is that? It's like crazy to me.
okay. I can explain to you more of that.
I mean, I've never seen that before. It's like, what the hell? Like,
Think of it, those optionals think of it as it's
yeah.
really an enumeration that's saying this type has something in it or nothing in it.
Well, yeah, I got that part, but then they have a whole, like online. There's a whole bunch of stuff about when should you explicitly unwrap versus having it automatically. I can find the articles.
No, I read those and I have
you
a
read
quote.
We've
I-
talked about this.
Yes, we talked
Oh, you
about
guys
this.
talked about
it?
Yes, we can discuss
I
it
missed
after.
it.
Yeah.
It's one of the big gotchas that's like, it's kind of just, it's scary the first time you see it, but then we get
freaking hell,
way
yeah.
more into it. It's just like, okay, this is just how you do it. Like,
In fact, some other languages are using that type of some or none instead of having like stuff like Java null pointer exception or C.
Oh, is that so? Is it like a non-type?
Yeah,
Okay.
That's what it is. The optionals is basically some or none type. It's an enumeration.
Okay, okay.
You could write it in Python, you could write it in any language. It's just an enumeration saying it either has something or
It does.
doesn't. Nil or
It's
none.
it's just your value or it's nothing.
Yeah, absence of value, not necessarily null pointer. Those things are dangerous. Really dangerous.
Okay. Any other questions?
I
Or?
used those.
Oh yes, I enjoy dangling pointers. Like doing a double free. Oh,
For your for the
Um,
time you're using the integer, you can change that to a date or time.
yeah.
Oh, for this
You're
one?
just gonna do a running.
I'm just a
count of
running
seconds.
counter, yeah.
Yeah.
And then I'll probably, well, tonight,
Modify it.
we're really not, I mean, we've only got about like
Yeah, you know.
15 minutes left. So we'll get to a point where, I'm hoping that we get to a point where we can have the stats, we can have a piece on the screen, and we can watch it fall.
Yeah.
And then next time we'll have the rest of it. So we'll get to that
Maybe
point.
do it pieces by
Yeah,
pieces.
absolutely. So next piece I'm going to do is I'm going to display, but Aaron, did you have any more questions or
No.
the answer? Okay. Okay, so I'm going to do a display of the attributes that we just created for the time and all these things, yeah? So what I'm going to do, I'll just, got it right here. So it's just a function, displays stats. It doesn't return anything, doesn't take anything, and it's just going to print full lines, here we go, it's of type string. So we're doing a cast of lines of type int to string, yeah? Now I'm going to call this down here. And another thing I like to do, just kind of, is works in Xcode, so your mileage may vary, but sometimes I find it very difficult to parse the code when these functions are open. I like collapsing them all and then just having one function open that I'm working on. So it's a shift, alt, command, and a left arrow. So it collapses everything. It just makes it just so much easier
yeah.
to read. I love this. And then you can also uncollapse.
I sometimes do
That's
that
great.
accidentally. No, I like. Okay, it's a style preference.
You accidentally hit a 4-stroke hotkey.
Yeah. I said that. Hey, what happened?
What the hell?
What are you
happened to my
drinking?
code?
No, I
Good,
like
some-
to see all my code because it's so complex that I gotta see what's going on. Sometimes it's good for parsing.
I feel like your code would be complex. You're operating at such a high level.
Unfortunately, the things I'm doing is just invariably complex, so I have to write wrappers around wrappers around wrappers. Sometimes you have to do that.
Okay, so we're going to call display display stats. And I'm going to bring up the console so we can see the stats.
That's why it has hundreds of class.
And there we go. So this is pretty much Tetris right here. We got full lines, time, level, score, next piece, and then what we want to do next is we want to show the piece on this board. Yeah. And then so we're running to kind of toward the end of our meetup, but we'll see what we can do and get this on. So here we go. I want to just show the piece. Show piece on screen. I'm bringing this in. So where should I be putting it? Let's see. Next piece, and then I want to show piece on screen right here. Shoot. We'll put it right here. So let's look at this code. All right, so it takes the screen, the game screen, array of arrays. It also takes a piece, array of arrays, and it returns an array of arrays. Pretty much what I'm doing here is I'm getting the screen, taking the piece, I'm putting the piece onto the screen, and then I'm returning the screen right here. So I create a new variable, return screen. This allows me to mutate this. I can't mutate something coming in directly unless I put a keyword in here. Yeah. So I'm doing the same for within a for. Go through. I'm iterating across the piece, and then I'm just looking in, and if the value at the coordinate of x and y inside of this piece is a 1, then I'm just going to do the same thing in the screen. I'm just going to put the screen and make it 1. So that should be running. I'm not sure why I have these errors. I think it's because I don't have this method in here yet. So I'm going to just pull this one in. Is this working for you guys? I feel like I'm coding with a bunch of people who are pretty good at programming. So is this
No, it
copy paste
makes
good?
sense.
Or
Yeah.
would you guys like to see me type it out?
No,
You want the copy paste, right?
no,
Okay.
and then
I'm
Oh,
like
gotcha.
happy because it's like
Gotcha.
a jack at DOS.
Nice. Okay, so I'm bringing in the get value at chords method that I'm calling right
First
here.
programs. DOS Rubik's Cube.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so that should work now. I'm going to build and should get rid of that. So it looks like it builds fine. Just waiting for it. that down. And then the call to show. Okay, so I still have issues here. So my piece offset. So does anyone know what the piece offset would be used for?
With respect to which, where your original position was.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's
You have to offset.
Yep. So this will take it. If I press left, I'll
Yeah.
move my piece left
Yeah.
1, that kind
Yeah.
of thing. So I'm gonna have the piece offset. It's just a tuple. I'm gonna bring it in here. And what I
That's how
do.
you- Oh yeah, that dot notation is how you access the number for people. Okay.
So what I'm doing here is I got a piece offset of a tuple int
Uh-huh.
int. I set it with a game screen. So this is just pretty much the first row of the game screen, and then I'm doing a count.
Oh,
So it should be the width, yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm doing a divide by 2. So that turns the x into, I think it's 10 pieces, so it'll be 5 and 0. So
Oh, I
x
see.
of 5, 0 of y.
Okay.
Okay,
Yeah.
so now that that's in there, I should be able to call my, what do I call it? Show piece on screen. But remember this returns this. So I'm actually going to be writing onto the screen here. So in order to call this, I need to assign it here. So before I display the screen, I'm going to do it here so we can see this. I'm going to go game screen equals show piece on screen. And in order to get the screen, it's going to be game screen. And the piece I want to use is the current piece. Yeah. So that looks like it should be good. I'm going to build. Hooray! All right, let's see what this thing looks like. Bringing up the console. There we go. So pieces on the screen. All right, and how are we on time? So we've got about 10 more minutes now. You guys want to see it drop? You want to see the piece go down?
Yeah.
All right, here we go. Just one more method we're putting in here, and then we'll call it on the Tetris.
For now.
For now. So I've called it move down piece. And I've inadvertently added an error into this method, and I want to leave it to you guys to fix it. So this is kind of just some homework for the last 10 minutes we have. So it's going to be called move down. Takes a piece, gets the offset. If the offset is lower than the width, if the offset is,
Oh, it's the bottom.
yeah, if it hits the bottom, then we want to just put the piece back to the top, and then we want to, sorry, I got this mixed up. So if it hits the bottom, if it doesn't hit the bottom, then we'll move the piece down and we're going to show it on the screen. But if it does hit the bottom, we're going to add the piece to the screen, which I haven't added this one yet. And then we want to change the current piece to the next piece. The next piece is going to be get random piece from pieces. We're set it at 0, and then we're going to put it right in the middle. Yeah.
Okay.
So the next thing I need to do is just add this one method back in. So I'm grabbing it from my other project in here, and I'm going to paste it in here. So I'll put it before because it won't be accessible if I put it afterward. So there it is, add piece to screen. So it's going to take the game screen and return the game screen. So because we want it to be mutable, we've created our own variable here. We're setting it with the screen. And then again, 2 for loops, iterating through. If we find a 1 inside of the current piece, we're going to set it in the return screen. Very straightforward, and return it. So now that should build completely. I'm going to zoom out, waiting for it. And there we go. So here we go. We're going to run it, but it's actually not going to do anything because we don't have a game loop going.
Right.
So this is what John helped me out with. I actually have to do a bridging header just for now. We'll fix it later. But for now, we've got a bridging header. We're going to be calling some C++ to clear the screen. Did you have a
Okay.
comment, John? You want to add anything?
Just you could probably type this as fast as you could paste
Yeah.
all that other crap.
Yeah.
Oh, what was that?
Oh, just this. Are you going to be clearing?
Oh, the clear screen you have now?
Yeah.
Oh, I'll just add it in.
Oh,
Yeah, I'll just copy and paste it, and then maybe on the next time you can add the stuff in later.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is kind of, it looks, I really don't know how to explain this, but I'm just going to show you guys how to do it, and then if we have questions, we can talk about it afterward. But I just want to end at 7 o'clock if anyone has to leave. But feel free to hang out after when we can talk. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to bring in some other code from this project and I'll bring it up here. So in this project, I have these right here. So I'm going to zoom in. So we've got a header file, a C++ implementation file, I believe. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
We've got a C++ header file. Is that what it is? And then a C++ implementation
The C
file.
plus wrapper is
This one. What is this written in though?
It's
This is C++.
Yes.
But what does the MM
It's
distinction mean?
I think it's the objective C++
right.
yeah.
Objective C++ file?
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow.
So you
Okay.
can use
C++.
C++ in Objective C.
Yeah.
Okay.
There are some gotchas you gotta watch out for.
But that's actually an Objective C wrapper for the C++, because you can't use C++ in Swift, but you can use Objective C with Swift.
Yeah. Or C.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah.
I would love to talk about this once we wrap the meetup, and then if we can have like open discussion, because
yeah,
I'd
we
love to
should.
get my head around it.
Okay.
Okay, so what I'm gonna do just to finish this up, just so we can get that clear end game loop, is I'm gonna just copy these in. Actually, I'm gonna do the frameworks first because I've done this like 7 times today, and I just want to make sure I get it right.
You gotta add that header to the.
Right, the bridging header.
Yeah, I've done that too.
I'm gonna bring in the framework.
I did that many times.
All right, so come on. Let me go in there. Here we go.
That one only clears the system console, not the.
Oh yeah, I've run it. Yeah. I've gone through that. Thanks for giving all the different variations on it too.
Yeah.
I thought there'd be a way to do it clean.
I'm unclear on why it's not letting me drag. Oh, do I have one running? No.
I think they would have added that by now. I don't know. I think they're going to give it a better console in the future.
I think to do framework, you have to go to the.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I've done it like this.
Did you drag the whole folder?
Yeah, I want the whole folder in. I'm not seeing it.
I think you gotta do it an alternative way.
Yeah.
I don't think you need those frameworks.
Oh, okay. Let's try it
I
with
was just
them.
experimenting with other things while I was playing with that.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm pulling in all of these files. I won't bring the frameworks in this one. So I'm just gonna be dragging them in.
Yeah.
And then Swift will actually, or Xcode will give me an option to do a bridging header,
Yes.
and I'm going to use it. So
Yes.
here we go. I'm just dragging it in. So now we all kind of know this, yeah? I want to copy them in, and then now it's going to see a bridging header. So does everyone know what a bridging header is?
Yes, I've used it before.
Okay. Tyler?
So-
Okay. John, please.
So you can, in your Swift now, I was going to say Objective-C, but in Objective-C or Swift, whichever one you're using it, so you can access methods of C or C++ methods.
Exactly.
It's just giving a reference to it.
Right.
So it's just a.
So we'll be showcasing how it's using C++ to do the clear screen. So I'm going to go I'm going to create the bridging header. I did. I'm actually going to delete it just because I don't want to break it again. So this is the one that I dragged in. This is one that's been created for me. So I'm just going to copy this header file over to here, paste it in, and then I'm going to delete this one because I don't need them anymore. And then I want to build it, see if it builds correctly. Oh, damn it. Okay. Where are you? So,
Maybe one of the frameworks.
yeah, I think so. So I'm
Which
going to,
frameworks did you use?
I think I just used one, and then
You know,
and maybe libcurses.
If you're using link curses, then you gotta have to add it into the embedded. Like when you add, like say, any framework, let's say the standard or something, you gotta go to Xcode, and then you gotta look at the link and then add it there. You can't just drag and drop frameworks.
pretty sure I did last time though. Pretty sure I was able to just drag it.
What if you just drag that one file? It doesn't go over?
Not easily.
No, I mean,
There we go, right there.
Oh yeah.
No, it'll look like
It
it.
worked for a bit.
See if you can just drag one of them. See if you can grab
Is it-
one of
libcurses,
them.
the second one.
See.
Yeah, it'll let you do that one maybe. It looked like it was gonna let you.
Maybe I just had to do it quickly. Yes, there it is.
Oh yeah.
So it's in there now.
Individual file. You can't do the group. 'Cause I think it
No
has
way,
to do with
all
the
the way.
references. Yeah.
All right, now we build successfully.
Yes.
So What I'm going to do is I'm just going to copy and paste this just to finish this up, because I want to make the call to the run game loop. So I'm going to copy this, go back to my Swift file, and collapse everything. And then I want to look at the game loop. So I'm going to paste it in there. So now I'll show you guys this game loop. So that's what it looks like.
I like the wild true. You know,
Yeah, right? It's just a nice little thing.
I like the wild true. Basically, a nice little infinite loop. As long as you put something to break out of it, you're fine.
Yeah. So from the top, we've got the moving the piece down. We've got display stats. We're going to print out the next piece, and then we're going to print the game screen, have it sleep, update the timer. I should actually put this here maybe. And then it's going to clear the screen. So
Should we clear the screen first?
should it clear the screen first?
Otherwise, we'd be looking at a.
Black screen.
I don't know.
No. Yeah, I think this is it. So I'll have it sleep. So it displays, sleep, clean, display again.
Okay. I
Oh
see.
yeah, that's sleep. All right.
Yeah. Okay. I see.
I didn't
Okay.
see where the sleep.
So I just want to make sure that I clean up down here because I don't need to do any of these prints anymore. So I want to do a run game loop here. And I want to, so another cool thing about Xcode is I can get directly to this method definition by holding down Command and pressing it. It takes me directly to it.
Oh, okay.
This also works in separate files, which is fantastic.
Oh, I think I better learn how to use that tool.
It is fantastic.
Because I have, so my files have hundreds of functions.
Yeah, this will jump you right to them.
Yeah.
How'd you get to your function before?
Look
Oh
for it.
no!
You can also access your functions.
Find.
Oh,
Your function names are in the top
Yeah.
navigator.
Yeah.
well, there's the other one. What's that quick one? Is it Control O or?
To find in project,
Yeah, you
it's
just type in the name of the function, it takes you to it.
yeah,
That's
it's
what I do.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
yeah,
what
yeah.
I do
I do too.
Yeah, it's like-
open
But you gotta
quickly.
remember all your functions.
It's that one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because, like I said, the project I run has hundreds of files, wrappers within wrappers to break
Holy
things down,
moly.
and I gotta do more refactoring.
Wow.
So sometimes when you make big changes, you have to break it down further so that you don't see 2,000 line functions. Not a good thing.
Yeah.
That's a bad idea.
Okay, so I've got that
Not
going,
always.
and I'm going to run it in here.
For
Almost
speed,
always.
with I don't know, with Objective-C.
So it's going to be kind of ugly in the output
Yeah.
because
Even in Swift.
yeah, it's still going to keep just printing. So there we go. We see it dropping. So that's the error right in there. So I'd like to, if you guys are interested, if you want to
Oh, I
figure out how to
see.
fix that.
Oh, because it's just keep on doing it without erase.
Yeah, it's just writing.
Yeah.
Okay, and then, so we have an index out of range too.
That's a favorite error of mine.
I remember talking about it with you.
No, because one of without getting into details, I was working with two arrays,
Mhm.
and I had that. That's my favorite error of the bunch because this is a very common one, especially when you keeping track of two arrays with different indexes. So what I had to do to often get out of array out of index out of bounds errors like that, what I had to do is every time I put, like say 1, 2, 3, I had to basically put the index into the array. So if I delete something, so I don't get out
Oh
of.
man.
Sometimes you have to look at solutions by just keeping track
That's a good
of.
way to do it.
I was forced to
Yeah.
because I had two different arrays. One array is containing, let's say, a shopping cart of items. Another, a list of items you have. And if I choose, because I can also delete, and
Yeah.
you know what happens, you might end up with an out of array. You try to access.
It's amazing it doesn't catch that error though, because it's a fixed array, right?
Which one?
Your arrays are fixed, right, in size.
It's fixed, but the amount of loops is.
Is
Well,
not.
Yeah, but
yes,
you would
also.
think Swift is so smart. You would.
Not yet.
Come on, it should
It's
be
called-
a warning. Wait a minute.
No, it just traps if you go under the ball.
And then the last thing I want to show
So you
before we
get
fix,
undefined behavior. That's
Before
one
we
of the
fix the
problems
problem-
to C and C++.
I don't know about this Swift thing.
I'm going to stop this here. I'm going to get into here, and I'm going to look at the product
live, so.
that's created, show it in the Finder, because I want to run this directly from the command line.
Okay.
So I'm going to do a terminal and then I want to get directly to this. Where's my mouse? There we go. So I want to get directly to this directory. So CD. Another cool tip is just dragging it over, yeah?
Or you can just double click it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What do I double click?
I didn't realize
This
that.
one.
Your
come
product. Yeah, right there. Click the file. Tetris command line 003.
Oh, that'll open it directly in there?
It'll open it in the
Oh, nice.
That's what a command line.
All right. So there we go. Let's look what it looks like.
Ready to ship.
Oh, it's yeah, I see
There we
the
go.
problem.
So there it goes. It's dropping down.
Not updating the. I see what the issue is,
Okay.
and then you're gonna get a crash.
Yeah.
Hey, nice. It didn't.
I think maybe the command line suppresses some of the crashes. It seems like,
No, it's still running. Look at the top.
oh yeah.
Yeah, it's still running. It'll give you an exit if it crashes. It should,
Oh, right.
unless you throw like a infinite sleep in there or something.
Okay, do you guys want to debug this?
I don't know how Tetris works.
Well, I'll close this out.
Doesn't
should
it
be
flip
fine.
around and stuff and do?
Shouldn't you just
I
clear the
don't even know.
screen before you move
Is
the
it-
piece? Yeah.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, it
erase
should
it.
clear.
Yeah,
Or
you
just
guys,
clear the line above.
yeah. You guys want to go into the code?
Yeah, do it.
Okay.
Yeah, sure.
So I'm going to get out of the terminal. I'm going to go back into the code.
Yeah, clear the whole screen instead of trying to determine the piece height.
Yeah.
I
yeah.
think you gotta know the piece height.
Okay. So does anyone want to hop on, pair, code this themselves? Anyone who's logged in?
Not today. I'm just.
Jonathan?
Can't, I got Linux.
No. Movies.
Okay, let's do it. So where do you guys think we should go? What do you want to focus on? Where do you think the error is happening? You can just tell me what you want me to do. I'll just go through.
If you're in a game screen loop, you could just clear it there and
Okay.
add the piece back.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
another way.
All right, so I'm inside of the loop, and so where do you want to put
I
it?
have a question.
Sure.
Since this is an infinite loop, is there a way to exit this loop if it hits the bottom?
I'm not sure what the command would be.
They just change true and while true to some variable. And
Yeah.
Well, what you could do is, since this is a main loop, you could put a condition if it hits the bottom, right? Or a certain condition, you can break out of that loop.
Mm-hmm. We do have something that complicates things is that our pieces, the way that they're created right
It's
now.
not clearing the piece, right? The previous piece. The
Yeah,
position.
the screen is retaining the piece that was there
Yeah,
before,
so
Yeah.
and it's
you
adding
just
the
need
next
that
one.
Whatever you're to clear the last piece, right? Position.
Okay, let's put it in here.
I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's try
How
it.
the program
sense.
works.
Yeah, you wouldn't know what-
No, but you know what I mean. It's just going down, right? So it just
Yeah.
needs to clear
So
the
before
word.
I
you
just gotta
adjust
plug
the
in real
position,
quick.
delete it. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's all.
Clear it and put the
Yeah.
position, redraw.
But that index error, I don't know.
Or just subtract the
That was kind
current.
of fun.
I love that one. That's
Yeah.
my favorite.
Well, he has next piece and he has previous piece, right?
Yeah.
So all he has to do is just get rid of clear the previous piece in the array.
Well, it's still the same piece dropping.
Yeah,
So we're
but
just
turn
clearing the
reset
drawing
it to
of
the
it. Yeah.
reset it to
Yeah.
whatever that empty
Clear-
space
And
is.
go to
Yeah.
every-
So, are you guys saying that we should replicate this
Put
again?
Zero inside.
Yeah, we could zero the whole thing out. How about
No,
that?
because that would fuck it up at the end when
It's
it,
just
Yeah.
zero.
you're layering at the bottom.
That's the fastest way.
That would
Zero
be
it
the
out.
fastest, but it would be a kind of boring game at that point.
Yeah. Really boring.
All right,
Yeah,
how
there's
would
so many ways
how
to
would
do
you
it.
guys fix it?
Just take the piece position -1, delete that before you put
Okay.
the piece in.
Yeah.
So where
Before you update
specifically?
the position.
I like they're
Yeah.
wiping out the whole.
Okay, I'm unclear on where you guys want me to.
It'd be where are you drawing the piece right now?
Well, display piece actually puts the thing in there.
Yes,
So
right here.
I'd do it in the display piece function.
Okay.
Okay.
So we're inside of display piece
I
now.
think.
Yeah, no, yeah.
Go through, we turn it, we print it out. So display piece is just printing out
Oh.
what it sees in here.
Oh, we need another.
We could do it
Oh,
there.
I'm sorry, it's not display piece. It's going to be display print screen, print game screen.
What is your game run? Where's that state start?
Up here in game screen.
in the okay, that's your game screen.
Yep.
So this is
Clear that
this
whole
just
thing, man.
Just zero it out.
this is holding all
Zero
this,
out the
this
whole
state,
thing.
and it doesn't. It just
Very
gets.
inefficient.
Oh, so you're just throwing a new piece as it's moving. It's just getting redrawn, and so
Yep.
Yeah.
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 you're just not cleaning up after.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
it seems
You're not
like
clearing out the previous position.
Right.
yeah.
I'd just blank it all and then
Yeah, just blank them.
not
Just
blank,
blank
it all,
'em.
blank that piece.
Yeah.
I'd make
Swift
a blank
must have
piece
a
function.
clear, like, in it.
I'd
Right.
put a clear piece function.
Clear Tetris piece.
I mean,
Yeah. Not seriously. I'd put
depends,
clear
if you
Tetris
do it
piece
like a
in.
functional way, you have your starting value, which is
Yeah.
all zeros,
Mhm.
and then you're just doing a transformation on that.
Yeah.
And so you just keep doing that transformation over and over.
Mm-hmm.
So you're always starting from scratch. So you
Yeah.
define your game space initially, that never changes. So that stays in memory somewhere, and you're just grabbing that and then modifying it.
Right. But I'm wondering how you're going to get to the point where when they start layering at the bottom of the screen when they have gaps, your new stop
Well, I don't know how
Exactly.
to
is going to be where?
Yeah. So what I've done, I don't mean to cut you off.
Oh, no.
What I've done is I've written I mean, this was when I had a single dimensional array. So my code is just completely different with a multi-dimensional one.
Yeah.
But what I'm doing is I have a algorithm that's going through and it's finding all of the pieces that are about to contact. So for
Right.
example, with a L piece, or I'm sorry, an I piece, the long I,
Right.
it goes through and iterates through every single piece that is actually a one, and then
Right.
it finds the one piece that has nothing underneath it.
Right.
So that becomes the contact point. And it's
Right.
the same for every single piece.
Oh, basically a form of collision detection.
Exactly,
Yeah.
yeah.
Closest to
Yeah,
it,
yeah. So we'll probably cover that next time.
Yeah, collision detection. Basically, you want to see if there's like a piece that's occupied.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was by the way, I was kind of using one of my grid stuff and just modeling that.
Nice. So I suspect that it's here because we're rewriting it and we're returning the screen right here. So in order to not do this, we want to, I'm actually not clear on this, so if you guys want to shout out answers, that's cool too.
What's in function move down?
Okay. Function move down has,
That's you'd want to clear it right.
here we
before
go.
that. So wherever move down is
Right.
Okay, so how about we do, I just want to display the screen, so how about I do display, let me see where my display, I don't want to update it, that's why, I just want to display the screen. That's not it. Okay.
Well, I mean, you need to either clear out that array or you need to just clear that index, the offset from the previous point, because you're always redrawing the screen, right?
Yeah,
That's
but-
what his code does, right? It clears the whole console, right?
no.
Oh, it's
No,
not in it.
that's the console, not the game array. The
Oh yeah,
game
but
space
I
array.
mean,
That's
every
nothing
time we
to do
see
with
a
that.
piece move,
That
it
clear screen
is-
is just about the terminal and the
Yep.
text.
oh, but I mean, when we see a piece move, has the screen been completely cleared before that?
Yeah, but then he's just redrawing the whole thing again.
Yeah, rejoin the whole thing, right?
So-
So we do need to, we need to erase it from the array, right? The previous,
Just the piece.
yeah, the piece, yeah.
I think they should just
I would just
Kill the
wipe,
piece.
wipe it out.
or
Just for the
make
sake
a
of tonight.
temp zeroed out piece,
Yeah.
Yeah,
an array
yeah,
of all
right.
zeros,
Correct.
and
yes.
then add that and
Correct.
get rid of the old one.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Actually, yeah, just add that. That would get rid of the old one.
Yeah.
yeah.
As long as you give it the same position as the current one.
Does anyone want to code it up?
What?
Not today.
Not familiar enough.
What, I
with
mean,
code
you
to do
wrote
it
the
quickly.
program. Wait a minute.
I guess I'm just seeing like,
It's hard to like jump in and go, oh, just
I
you
just-
know, when you're not the one that's been in there.
right.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, here, can you cook a turkey in my kitchen real quick?
Just save
No.
the, like you said, just save the init array screen and just assign it back.
All right.
Right before you put the next piece in.
I go with the group.
I mean,
Here we
that's
go.
the worst. I mean, you know,
Greens?
the brute force method. That's not.
No. But that's gonna kill the rest of the game.
Yeah.
Oh, check this out.
You
Check this
can't
out.
layer stuff.
Yeah, we'll
It'll work. It'll animate the piece down.
Right.
That's the point.
That's gonna be the most boring Tetris version ever.
Well, this is the not fully featured Tetris.
Yeah.
There's no piece turning or anything in this.
Right.
So
But if you do this, you're not gonna be able to do anything else except drop pieces.
Yeah.
Actually, that's not the case because it's actually going to update it right here. And when we do, you see there's the distinction between these two, yeah?
Yeah,
Show
yeah.
piece versus
That's
add
one,
piece
yeah.
too.
Yeah.
So this one is meant to just show,
Yeah.
and this one will return the actual game screen with the updated piece at the bottom.
Right.
So in order for this one to work, it seems like we need to update show piece on.
But you're gonna have to have a show lines that they haven't cleared at the bottom of the game as the pieces fall. I'm just saying this is gonna.
I hear what you're, yeah, I hear what you're
Unless you're
saying.
gonna store that condition.
Yeah, that's what I meant. That's what I meant to do. Yeah,
I get you.
yeah.
Yeah. It's easy to mock
Let's
up.
see.
Yeah, it's like you have to figure out what.
You know, when you build things like this, it's good to model it out on pencil and paper.
Oh, absolutely.
Or use a
John
tool
knows how
like
the
this.
program works.
I've got a little whiteboard next to my desk that
Yeah.
Nice.
I'll make my
Yeah, yeah, actually, I like this because I can see make a variable screen so I can actually, and then program it.
Yeah.
Instead of writing all zeros, I just do it in a ring, just
Yeah.
build it and then look at the relative positions and then. There's a little pain. I lost the code, I now have to figure it out more efficient.
What is that you're running?
It's a project I did for fun. It's a 16 by 16 grid. I use it to probably map out the AES encryption scheme because everything is it's a 256-bit number and just all binary.
Yeah.
So we're visualizing large binary schemes in hexadecimal numbers. Talk about low level. Can't get any more low level than that. And if I want to, I can convert some of these numbers into a pointer if I wanted to. So it would be a kind of a dangerous thing to do.
So try.
So why are we using command line and not like Sprite?
Well, yeah, absolutely. The reason we're doing that is I'm finding a lot of developers who are coming don't have a Mac.
Right.
So we're really kind of pivoting to say, like, if you want to code in Swift, great, but you don't need a Mac.
Yeah.
Because we're working on installing Swift 3 inside of Ubuntu 16 in a virtual box.
Okay.
So
Which I have to do at some point.
the idea of kind of like the restriction of doing command line stuff was like with the idea that maybe we'd be able to do this for people who don't have a Mac.
Yeah.
So,
Or people who wants to explore Swift besides on Mac like me.
Yeah.
Put it on Ubuntu and because like I said, I gotta do server-side Swift at some point.
okay, I'm gonna just leave this where it is. It feels like it's getting a bit contentious, so we'll leave it where it is, and then we'll come back and update it. So it's online. The repo is there. I'll be posting it after the meetup. And thanks for being here. Thanks for your time. We'll probably hang out here for 15, 20 minutes.
Yeah.
If you guys want to talk.
Sure.
All right. Thanks a lot.
How's it going? Super good.